This is Arthur Carmazzi. I'd like to share with you today about helping your children to be greater leaders. See, a lot of times what happens is that our kids are testing us. They're seeing what they can get away with. Every single day they're trying to kind of push the limits. You ever notice that? You know, they're trying to do something. Is it right? Is it wrong? You know, see how you react. Now here's the thing, okay? Oftentimes, especially maybe we're in a public place, maybe we're busy, we're in situations where, you know, we've got our own things to do, and sometimes we give in to whining, or we give in to yelling and screaming. Now, essentially, the moment you do that, you are potentially setting yourself up for years and years of difficulty. Why? Here's why. Because when your children are testing you, they're testing various success formulas. One of the success formulas is, hey, what happens if I whine enough? Do I get what I want? So if literally they whine and they get what they want, well, guess what? You are teaching them whining gets you what you want. So one of the key factors, if we're going to raise greater kids, greater leaders, we're going to apply the ideals of directive communication psychology to managing focus, is to make sure that they understand that negative behavior is not supported. So if you're supporting negative behavior like whining by giving them what they want, what happens is that you are teaching them that works in achieving their goals. That's not just going to be as a kid, that is going to manifest itself throughout their life. Now here's the other thing. Maybe you have, more than one child. Or maybe your child sometimes, blames the other child, or maybe, they blame the teachers or they blame circumstances. See, the concept of blame is literally about not taking responsibility. If you allow your child to blame his brother, his sister, her brother, her sister, the teacher, anybody, okay, you are basically saying that, hey, nothing is your fault. If you blame somebody else, you're just a victim. And as the victim, oh, poor you. Well, unfortunately, that does not support people solving their own problems. It does not support your children growing up to looking at things, how they will be able to literally say, okay, you know what? This is my responsibility. I am in charge and I am going to fix this problem. What it's going to do is it's going to create victims. Oh, my boss did this. Nothing I can do about it. Oh, my, friend did this. My wife, my boyfriend, whatever did this. Oh, I'm just a victim. You're setting them up for more heartache and less success. You're setting them up to be less happy as individuals because they have no control over their lives. See, if you set up from the very beginning a no blame zone in your house and you do not accept blame, you are helping your children to accept more responsibility, which means that they have the power to solve their problems. Now, of course, they're children, right? I mean, you can't just say, okay, this is the entire theory behind no blame, because you gotta make it fun, right? So, I mean, one of the key things that we also implement with organizations, because a lot of the parents of the people that work in organizations never had a no-blame zone when they were kids, so what happens is now they're just blaming everybody at work, right? Well, that's not fun, and it doesn't support success of the organization or the individual. So, we apply this no-blame zone at work, but we also apply it at home. So, if our kids start to blame each other, I have two. I have Dante, I have Alessandro. Now these guys, I mean, they're two boys and they're very ambitious. They're trying to do a whole bunch of stuff. And the thing is that sometimes they do blame each other, but we do have the no blame zone. The first thing that happens the moment that one of our kids blames somebody is we basically say, are you blaming? Okay, we make it fun and we make it that blame is not an acceptable situation. They come and say, oh, but Alessandro did this. Oh, but Dante did this. Okay, does it did you look at solving the problem, or are you blaming? So we consistently are, in a fun and not confrontational way, helping our kids to not blame and focus on the solution. Now, one of the other key factors is teamwork. See, a lot of times people are busy. I understand. I'm busy, my wife's busy. I mean, sometimes, honestly, we don't really have a lot of time to really focus on it. But here's the thing. If you just take a little bit of time, if you're just working with the kids just a little bit, okay, and you're consistent with it, you're going to be able to create the concept of teamwork. If the team doesn't work, well, then both people or the entire team, or however many kids you have, you got 6 kids, your team is 6 kids, right? Okay? Whatever the team can or cannot do, it is a team effort. So if the team cannot get along, well, then the problem is not one individual's problem, it is the team's problem. If one child is doing something like maybe not sharing, it is a team problem. So we basically ask them, okay, are you being a team? If one says, Dante's not sharing, okay, is it Dante's fault? Are we going to go and blame Dante and tell Dante you should share? It doesn't support teamwork, right? Because then we're basically saying, hey, if this person tells on that person, the authority, parents, are going to take over and we're going to solve the problem for them, which basically relieves them of the responsibility of solving their own problems. So instead, we basically, the moment that somebody complains about the other sibling, immediately we basically say, okay, are you acting like a team? Are you solving your problem? Because if there is an issue, it could be a toy, for example. If both kids want the toy, you know how they don't play with a toy until one of the kids starts playing with the toy, then the other brother immediately wants the exact same toy, and then they start fighting, okay? You've probably experienced that. Gosh, well, anyway, here's the thing. If the toy is the result of no teamwork, rather than basically making one child share, okay, we basically say, okay, if you can't act as a team, then we're going to take this toy away because it is the effect that is making you not work like a team. And guess what? The moment that potential of taking that toy away, however insignificant the toy is, okay, they start to work together. They start to say, okay, we'll work together. So we basically say, okay, show me. Show me how you're working together. And they start to figure things out. They start to solve their own problems. Creating great leaders starts with parents, starts with people like you. If you're watching this video, you have kids. And your kids have the potential to be world leaders, leaders of industry. They have the potential to make a difference in the entire globe. But it starts with you, the parent. It's very important that our actions in not reinforcing this negative behavior are done out of love and never out of anger. Speak to your kids intelligently and lovingly, and while they may whine and they may protest, after it's all over and after they accept it, make sure you give them a hug and show them you love them. This is Arthur Carmazzi wishing you great success.